Hello and welcome to the Hibs Observer post-match reaction show with myself, Liam Bryce, joined by Craig Nisbet after Hibs, more drop points, another late goal. Not a great day at the office for David Gray's side. 2-2 draw in Livingston. A few talking points to pour over, Craig. We'll get into more detail in due course, but what is your initial reaction to that today?
Oh, so frustrating. I actually, I thought we were on a wee bit of even despite the performance against and the result against Rangers midweek, I thought we'd been on a bit of an upturn, with the results against Livingston, Aberdeen, even the two performances against sort of Celtic and Hearts before that as well. Like, you just sort of felt we were, plugging some gaps and getting guys into the team and building a bit of consistency. But that game there, it felt like a throwback to early on in the season when, we just looked really, really shaky. And there's no doubt, we should have went away with a victory there. And I said it on Twitter, but I can imagine Gray will be probably trotting out the Masters of our own downfall line again, because that's exactly what we were today.
Yeah, I know he probably will, because, and I know sometimes fans can get a bit frustrated when they hear the same thing from the manager, but it's because the same things keep happening, really, isn't it? But after such a positive start, 17 seconds, what a goal. It was so early in the game, I'm going to confess that I missed it at the time. I had to wait until half time to see it. That really should have set the tone for a more positive performance, surely.
Yeah, especially, obviously there was a few changes in the game, which I think, nobody would have argued with, before the match started. Chaiwa coming in, the Caddens on the bench, Bowie getting some bench time as well, just after a wee sort of dip in form and not playing particularly well. And, when you do change it around, you do worry about the dynamics of the team. But actually, like you say, within that, like 17 seconds, we're 1-0 up, and you should go on and build from that. You should look to strike again. And actually, I genuinely thought it was one of our worst first halves I've seen all season. We could not string a pass together.
It was sloppy.
Salinger was sloppy, which he's never normally with his feet. We were just thumping it like aimlessly. We couldn't get Barlaser onto the ball and into the game. And Livy, they were. Obviously they had the ball in the net a couple of times. They were all rightfully ruled out, but they played very, very well against us, and we just didn't seem to have any answers to change it. So, obviously they pulled. Their goal. Livy's equaliser was a brilliant goal. Like they
really
popped it around.
Wasn't it?
Very well worked. They popped it around. They pulled us out of position. They exploited the spaces that they had, from the positions that they pulled us out of, and it just was a really odd. I know they were slightly different shape. Like Livy, they were back to sort of like a 4-2-3-1, but it shouldn't have been that complex to play through that or around it, and we just could not get going at all. And I think that ended up contributing to the overall performance, really.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought it was slightly improved after half time, if not massively so, but there was a wee bit more purpose, a bit more cohesion. Barlaser getting on the ball a bit more, because he was sort of just, he was kept out of the game entirely in the first half, almost.
When you're like, I agree with you, Barlaser, he did, but I think that was because Pittman went off, and I think Law came on, and you shouldn't really be relying on Scott Pittman being, like, with the greatest of respect, having to go off for you to get Barlaser into the game.
Yeah, he was doing a number on him, really, wasn't he?
He was doing a really good job on him, and we didn't really rotate or do anything to try and mix it up in the middle of the park. So then, the space was going to be down the sides, but it turned into just thumping it down the centre of the pitch, and it was easy for with Boyle and Cleege up. And again, obviously for the goal, like you spoke, like Cleege does amazing. It's a great leap and flick on, and it's an unbelievable strike from McGrath. So we had that moment, but then after that, it just seemed, we were too sloppy, too many touches, not releasing the ball at the right time. And throughout the whole, Chai was probably one of the only players that really gets any sort of pass marks today in terms of his performance. But that was the first half was so frustrating. The second half opened up a bit. Obviously, we got A good second goal, good, really unbelievable work from Chaiwa down the right and slots it into Mulligan. And to be fair, Mulligan's passing to Boyle, he sort of like fires it in, and it's a great touch and turn and finish from Boyle. But even then again, I feel like after we scored, it's then we didn't really see the game out or capitalize on it. We sort of fell back into the old patterns and routines that have cost us goals and results and points.
Yeah, I think the longer it sort of stretched on, I was sort of thinking that there's something in this for Livingston if they want it. Because I said, it was a wee bit better. Hibs went back in front, as you say, a really well worked goal. Miguel Chaiwa does so well. Probably, as you say, one of the only positives. He's just got a drive about him. He was determined to make something happen. He was kind of one of few I thought was maybe really trying to take some responsibility on the day. So he was good. But then from there, to have been pegged back to retake the lead, you're really looking to either shut the game down or go and kill it off. And to be fair, Kieran Bowie had the ball in the net for a third goal, and it was ruled out for offside. But I've not had a chance to really, properly look back at it. But from what I've seen, it looked very, very close, didn't it?
Yeah, and that's, I think, Gray made the subs, and just after the goal, another triple sub, which again is sort of, you couldn't argue with that really, because you get the goal and then you think, right, you put on Nicky Cadden, you bring on Bowie, you change the dynamics there, you get Hoylett on in those little spaces. It was I thought it was a clever set of subs to make at that time, and of course you get that moment where Mulligan slips it in behind, and it's a really good finish from Bowie. And yeah, like, without the lines, I thought, he looks like he's just been kept on by I think Benny at the back post. Mm-hmm. And then even when they drew the lines and it was on the screen for just that time, I still couldn't really see what part of his body was offside. Because if they are saying it's like the shoulder or that, like,
that was really where like. Yeah, see when they draw the sort of downward line off the player to obviously give the reference point, that seemed to be where they were going from. So I think
the shoulder, the shoulder from the Livy player looked to be just ahead of him. So obviously the camera was like sort of slightly behind the play. It wasn't directly in line, but listen, you're obviously gutted because if you go 3-1, I think we see the game out, no problem. And I'm gutted for Bowie as well, because I think that he needed that goal. It just would have been a nice way to cap the game. And but it seemed like that. And like, I think last season, that would have happened to us, and I would have been confident we still would have seen the game out. But it's now that when we get those little moments against us, it really gives the other team an advantage, and we seem to just, I don't know. I think I've not posted it yet, but I was just kind of putting a wee thread together a game, and it's just like a panic mode. We just start to panic and slice at the ball, and just you can. I think there's still something there with the players, I think, going into these like final moments of the games.
Yeah, there's not that sort of assured sort of steeliness I felt that was really evident last season. I think maybe the confidence and the momentum that had been built up probably plays into that quite a lot, but it just doesn't feel like it's quite there at the moment. And as I said, the longer it went on, I was like, I do feel there is something in this for Livingston if they really want it. And it's going to, inevitably, when there's one goal in it, the other team are going to throw caution to the wind, and anything can happen really at that point. Do you have any issue with the penalty award?
Nah, not at all. It's more frustrating just before it, because there was a chance to sort of play Bowie down the line or out, and we balls it up, for want of a better term, and then it leads to the corner, and it's one of them for Nicky Cadden. It's he's far enough away, and it does, his arm moves towards it. It's just a natural thing. We've all been there if you've been playing football before, and your arm kind of goes towards it and you can't really help it. But definitely a penalty, just because of the distance. I think how far away the header is from him. And Graham Carey, for all that he's a bit older now, if he gets a chance, like a set piece chance or penalty, he's got the quality and the technique. So I it was a brilliant penalty to be fair to him.
Salem just went the right way, but you're not getting anywhere near that, to be honest.
No, not at all.
So it sort of compounded what was a frustrating afternoon for Hibs. Drop points on the road, 2-2 draw. Kind of hard to say that they deserved to win the game. I think just didn't really get going. But it's another frustrating one. It's another late blow for a team that's suffered quite a few of them already this season. So thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to park it there. We'll have full coverage of David Gray's post-match press conference on our YouTube channel and on hibsobserver.co.uk. So do keep an eye out for that. Patrick McPartlin is at the game for us, so he'll be providing all of that in due course. We'll see what the manager has to say about another frustrating afternoon. But for now, folks, obviously thanks first of all to Craig for joining us. And thanks to you for joining us as well, folks. We'll be back at the start of next week for a sort of a deeper review of today's game, if you can stomach it, of course. But we do keep an eye out for that. But for now, try and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll speak to you yet again soon. Cheers.